Guys, they're forcing rats to swim on mushrooms. For science. Yo, where's my C4? Because we got to dive into that. Alright guys, if you've been following my channel for any decent length of time, you probably know what lion's mane is by now, right? Here, I'm just going to draw a little picture to get us started here. So this will be my mushroom hunter's rendition. How do you draw and film at the same time? We might have to fast forward this. There we go. And yes, if you have not been following my channel, there are mushrooms in the woods that look like that, especially out here in PA. This is Hericium erinaceus, aka lion's mane. There's a couple cousins. You got, was it beard's tooth and coral tooth? But of the Hericium genus of mushrooms. Let me write that up here for y'all. Hericium. That is a cool name for a mushroom. Hericium. There we go. We're just going to go by Hericium. Hericium erinaceus. If I speak of the extract, H-E, extract or whatever in this discussion, because that's a lot of times how it's referred to in the literature that I read and I speak of. But they're giving Hericium erinaceus extract to rats and forcing them to swim for science. Why? Well, it all goes down to something y'all might have heard of, known as estrogen. What does estrogen have to do with rats and a lion's mane mushroom? I don't know how far back I gotta take it for y'all, but let's just say they took rats and removed their ovaries for science to mimic postmenopausal behavior. By doing so, they'll have typical postmenopausal symptoms such as weight gain in the uterus while body mass drops. So if they give them back an estrogen like estradiol, they can reverse the effects of this, right? Well, what they've seen is they can give them this extract, a methanol extract of Hericium erinaceus, the lion's mane, and it doesn't cause a reversal of the weight loss and the uterine weight gain. I need to take this back over to the truck to break this down a little further. I already know where this is going. We got to get a little chemical here. So what you have going on is some receptors that bind to estrogen. And when you don't have estrogen production because of the loss of the ovaries, you're going to lose these effects, theoretically, right? So the receptors I want to deal with is, you actually got three primarily, and I'm kind of overlooking the G-coupled estrogen receptor. Okay, or G-coupled protein estrogen receptor, sorry. But the ones I want to focus on are ones that are your primary estrogen receptors. We'll call them ER alpha and ER beta. How's that? There we go. We got ER alpha and ER beta. So the one in the study anyway, you got to understand these receptors and how they function in the body is not linear. It's not like just one thing happens because of one thing happened to it. You have effects that carry over into other systems, right? So all I'm looking at is primarily what happens with these estrogen receptors when you remove or knock out the ovaries in these mice. You don't have these activated. So they give them back estradiol, which is the primary estrogen that the ovaries produce, and the function resumes just like they never had their ovaries taken out, right? Okay, so all that clear. Now let's introduce some mushroom science into this, guys, real quickly. So alpha receptor activation is going to cause body weight loss, while an increase in the weight of the uterus. While on the other hand, alpha receptor beta is located primarily or exclusively in the brain, as far as I understand. And activation of this is going to alleviate depressive-like symptoms caused by a loss of estradiol, which tells us that there is something to do with the mood regulation and estrogen function in the brain. So they give the rats a Hericium erinaceus, the lion's mane, methanolic extract, which is important because they're trying to isolate certain compounds that are pulled with methanol better than ethanol, or better than water as well. But anyway, they give them this methanol extract, and what they discover is it doesn't activate the alpha receptor, because they're seeing that there is no reversal in the menopausal symptoms when given the Hericium extract, as far as that's concerned. But what they do see is an alleviation of the depressive-like symptoms, possibly because of an activation of the estrogen receptor beta. Problem lies, guys, in determining an alleviation of depressive-like behavior in rat models. It's not like they sit down and ask the rats, how you feeling today? They use this forced swim test where they place the rats in a cylinder where they don't have much mobility. They're going to basically have to tread water, right? They're going to be put in water that's above their heads, and it's not like they can just swim around. It's like a glass cylinder. Here you go, and see how long they can last without drowning. I guess it's a determination of motivation to live is how science is looking at it, I guess. So you might find this a little funny because I'm always talking about science literature. I'm reading about mushrooms and sharing it with you guys, right? But in this case, I feel like this study in particular, and by the way, this is only from 2022. This is 2 years old. But how accurate can we be determining the mental health of rats by forcing them to swim in a glass cylinder? That's my question. I really would like to know what y'all's take is on doing such a forced swim test and determining, like, how is this going to affect us, right? That's what they're doing this for. They're doing these tests to see if this is something that could be viable or effective, rather, in humans. And I feel like they're jumping to huge conclusions here. Did I mention the activation of the alpha estrogen receptor versus the beta shows an increased risk in breast cancer in women? So that's kind of the goal here, is if they can find something that can flip on the antidepressive effects of the beta receptor while leaving the alpha receptor alone, they can find something that could be therapeutic for postmenopausal women, right? But how accurate is this? Is it worth the sacrifice of animals? Because, I mean, they're taking animals and removing ovaries for these tests, right? And I know I'm picking on one science literature to pick on this cruelty to animals bit. But I'm kind of just stirring up controversy, I guess, to hear what y'all think about it. What do y'all think about them using rats for science like this? If it could help them find something that could be effective toward postmenopausal depression without increasing cancer risk at the cost of removing ovaries and forcing them to swim in cylinders, is it worth it? What's your take on this? Hey, excuse me. So anyway, the results were good, though. That's the conclusion here. If we're going to go with the science in this case, and if you can draw such a conclusion to determine all this, then yes, these rats were benefited by giving a methanolic extract of lion's mane. What were the compounds, by the way? Let me write them up here. Where's my marker? Where's my C4? All right, here we go. These compounds were also found in soybeans, by the way. Oh, guys, easier to just write it when I'm not recording, so I don't have to worry about mistakes here. But we have daidzein and genistein, two polyphenols that are found in other plants too, and possibly other fungi besides lion's mane. The study focused on lion's mane extract, with a focus on these two compounds. But yeah, they are found in soybeans as well, and that's probably why soybeans are known as phytoestrogenic, because of estrogenic compounds like these. So you can literally consider lion's mane an estrogenic mushroom too, guys and ladies. So consider lion's mane a possible good source of nutrition and mood boosting effects for postmenopause ladies. And I was going to give you all the piece, but check this out. If you haven't seen my video on touring patterns, look at the sky above me. You can actually see all forms of touring patterns. You've got the lines, like the waves, you got the spots. Can you guys see all that? Look at the texture down there. That's crazy. Hey, that's just a little free sample plug for a previous video. Go check out my Fungi Facts playlist on my channel. Subscribe to my channel. We do this every Monday. And if you're watching this for the live premiere tonight, because it's Monday night, stay after for a little live chat as we do afterwards. And until next time, peace.
Mushroom hunter, bear to feeder, a man whose heart beats from the ether.